our employees make things look so easy.
Yeah.
And then when you go to do it, you're like, this isn't as easy as what it looks. So they really are very well versed and do a very good job for us. We're standing here, we're in one of our weld booths. What we do here is we take a lot of the components that we've cut at our fiber lasers, ran through our brake press, and then they usually flow into our weld cells. In here today, what we're doing is going to be loading up a weld fixture and then putting the weld to the mating two parts together. So you'll see the small gusset getting welded to this, as well as some seam welds over there. So this is the wire that's used. So when he's arcing that over, that's becoming a weld. And it's very important to, speed, temperature when you're welding. So Corey does a really good job at trying to control both, and that's what puts that weld together to fuse those two pieces of material together. So if you don't have a good steady hand and you're not good, you'll end up seeing different pinholes, you'll see spatter all over the place. So if somebody like myself were to do it, that's what you'd see. But because we have somebody like Corey who does this every day, who's an expert at it, does a really good job at, making really nice welds and fusing things together. So our customers expect really good quality, and if you have a hole in a weld, that's not considered good quality and more than likely would not be acceptable. So Caterpillar holds us to a very high level of weld quality. Corey's went through weld training and had numerous weld tests to get to where he is today. You can burn your eyes if you don't wear the helmet. They get what they call welder's. You could get what they call welder's eyes. It's where your eyes basically get bloodshot, dried out, and you'll wake up the next morning and barely be able to open them. So that's why they wear the weld coat. Keeps the weld spatter off, but also protects their arms from the heat and that. She would have probably came in, she could have started out as a robot operator more than likely, and expressed interest. We probably worked with her on some basic weld skills, and then gave her some small, real low complexity parts.
Okay.
And maybe they're just literally tack nuts on or something real low complexity. And then once she started doing well at that, we just continued gradually working her up. And then as she progresses in her skill and the complexity of her parts, we'll do additional weld tests depending on what product she's welding to understand how she's doing and maybe also what work we can put her on. This is actually one of our biggest robots that we have. It's got a 72-inch reach on it. A lot of our other ones are, maybe around a 48-inch reach. So this one lends itself to run larger product mix, such as these doors. We used to put hoods on there for John Deere, for the crawlers. Just a variety of different product mixes.
I put a few clamps down to hold it in place.
Okay.
Push that one down. Okay.
So these clamps are setting the position for your main door.
Okay. And then you can clamp this one and that one. Okay. And then I'm going to take one of these parts and load it up into here. Okay. Then you can just clamp it in there. Okay.
So this machine back here is, we call our river system. What that is it entails 4 fiber lasers, which is a newer technology equipment. It cuts about 2.5 times faster than our current machines. It's a 72 shelf tower system. It holds 72 bales of material for us. Cuts all different material thicknesses. So what it does is it's taking basically flat sheet stock, and it's cutting the part geometry that we want. So that'll end up being a chassis component. It could hold a radiator. It could just be a support to the frame rail, or it could be anything that just fastens to that particular bracket. Obviously, with this labor shortage, automation is becoming more and more important. Also, this automation that we have back here behind me is something that it makes our employees' jobs a lot easier as well. In the past, without this river system that holds the 72 bales of material, we had employees taking a crane and loading one sheet at a time onto those machines. This automation piece does that for us. So instead of having somebody loading material all day long and not being able to run the machine, now that automation piece does that, and the operators are able to focus on the product that they're making, you know, cut quality, things like that. So what we're doing is, as the parts are cut and come out onto our conveyor, the material is basically a big jigsaw puzzle. We're trying to optimize the most space and material here to get as many parts in there as possible. So that's what we have here, is what's coming cut off of our fiber lasers. And our employees take these, we call them a skeleton. That's the material that's nested in between the parts. So we take the skeletons off, we place them in the hopper, and then we take the parts off, remove any kind of weld slugs that may be left inside. So on these particular parts we have 2. We flip it over, look for burrs, and then we stack it on a pallet. So this here is excess material too, so we just flip it up, kind of go back and forth so you don't pinch your finger. Yep, and it's very sharp. There you go. Just keep, yep, you can keep hitting it until it comes out. There you go. And if you want, I'll hold that up for you. There you go, good. And then we'll just take this, and then we'll set this back here. Good. And then there's the pallet back there. We'll just stack it right on top, just like that is.
I've been here a little over 10 years now. Been in lasers the whole time. I actually run the new fiber we have over there with the loading system, but it's about the same as the river back here. For us, we're just worried about the lasers behind us. Somebody else loads up the material in there and loads the programs we're going to run. It automatically loads and unloads those. All we do is keep it running. As far as got to make sure cut quality, if the laser stops for any reason, head crashes, any of that we get fixed. Then we just offload the product and then tag out the routers. I like the people I work with. I like what I do as far as we're like the first step in the process. We get the raw material and we get to cut the parts and send them to the next process. I do a lot of the training now because I've been here so long, but from the first day I got trained on the CO2s by a lady that used to work here. Taught me how to grid up parts and all that stuff. We don't do much of that anymore, but it's just whenever something new comes in, I try to get with somebody that can teach me how to do it.